killed and disappeared.
தொடர்ச்சியாக நாங்கள் இந்த நாளினை நினைவு கூர்ந்து அன்றைய நாளிலே கடற்தொழிலினை நிறுத்தி, அது மட்டுமல்ல எங்களுடைய அரசு ஊழியர்கள் கூட தங்களுடைய வேலை நேரத்தினை குறுகிய லீவு எடுத்து இந்த நிகழ்விலே பங்கு பெற்றிய பின்னரே தங்கள் வேலைக்கு செல்வது வழமையாக இருக்கின்றது.
For the past 27 years, the 6th of January has seen the people of Vankala in Manna turning up in their thousands for an open-air mass at the St. Anne's Church. Priests from Vankala and elsewhere, family members and concerned citizens come together to remember the life, service, bravery and brutal killing of Father Mary Bastian.
எங்களுடைய பங்கு தந்தை அவர்கள் பல உயிர்கள் கொல்லப்பட்ட வேளையிலே துணிந்து நின்று தோள் கொடுத்து அதை காவாந்து பண்ணி புதைக்க கொண்டு வந்த நேரத்திலே அவருடைய உயிரையும் பழிவாங்க வேண்டும் என்ற திட்டத்தோடு பல இனவாதிகள் அவரை எதிர்த்து நின்றார்கள். இப்படியான நிகழ்வுகள் நடக்கும் நேரத்தில் இவர் துணிந்து நின்றதனால் இவர் கொல்லப்பட்டார்.
According to the custom that has been followed for the past 27 years, the Mass is followed by a memorial meeting. This is used as an occasion to remember the service rendered to the community by Father Bastian, while contemplating on issues of related importance. Remembering the life and death of Father Bastian also set the context to highlight many problems faced by communities who are discouraged from remembering their losses. Father Raipu Joseph, the Bishop of Manna, spoke on these lines.
அவர்கள் சொல்கிறார்கள், இந்த செத்த வீட்டுக்கு நினைவு கூறுறதுக்கு நாங்கள் வச்ச பொழுது இந்த இதில் என்ன படகுதுறையில் செத்த மக்கள் அன்றைக்கு கொல்லப்பட்டவர்கள் படகுதுறையில் கொல்லப்பட்ட மக்களுக்கு இந்த 2ஆம் தேதி ஜனவரி மாதம் 2ஆம் தேதி ஒரு நினைவு தினம் வைக்க அதுக்கு பெரிய ஒரு எதிர்ப்பு காட்டப்பட்டதாகவும் வேறொரு கதையை சொல்லித்தான் அவர்கள் அந்த தினத்தை அவர்கள் இப்படியாக கொண்டாடினார்கள் சொன்னார். கிட்டத்தட்ட என்னுடைய கணக்கின்படி 1,46,000 மக்கள் இந்த போர்னால அவருடைய கதி என்ன நடந்தது தெரியாமல் இன்று நல்லிணக்கம் சமாதானம் எல்லாம் பேசிக் கொள்கிறார்கள். இது எப்படி நடக்கும், அவருடைய வரலாறு என்னன்னு நாங்கள் மறந்து போனோம். இந்த மக்களுக்கு ஏற்பட்ட துன்பங்கள் வரலாறு என்ன, வரலாறு மீட்கப்பட வேணும்.
One of the most significant moments of the event was when Nixon, who had been an altar boy at the parish at the time of the murder, presented those gathered with an eyewitness account of what happened. He, together with his family, were witnesses to the brutal killing when they had sought refuge in the church during heavy military fire under the advice of Father Bastian.
அடுத்த நாள் காலையில் போய் பார்த்த பொழுது அந்த கண்ணீர் வனத்துக்கு முன்பாக அந்த படிகளில் தெப்ப கரைகள் அப்படியே பதிந்து காணப்படுகின்றன. ஆனால் அதில் வளர்க்கப்பட்டிருந்த அன்பதனுடைய உடலை காணவில்லை.
பங்குமனையில் அவர் சுடப்பட்டு இறந்து விழுந்ததை சாட்சிகள் விலாவாரியாக எடுத்துரைத்தார்கள். ஆனால் இறுதியில் இந்த விசாரணை குழுவின் முடிவு என்ன தெரியுமா? ஃபாதர் மேரி பாஸ்டியன் தீவிரவாதிகளுடன் கடல் வழியாக இந்தியாவுக்கு தப்பி போய்விட்டார். என்ன அப்பட்டமான பொய்!
ஃபாதர் மேரி பாஸ்டியன் ගැන එදා කියන්නේ ஃபாதர் மேரி பாஸ்டியன் ලංකාවෙන් ගිහිල්ලා ඉන්දියාවට පැනලා ගිහලා ඉන්නවා කියලා. අද මේ රාජපක්ෂගේ ආණ්ඩුවේ අය UN එක ඉස්සරහට ගිහිල්ලා කියනවා ප්‍රදීප් එක්නැලිගොඩ වෙනත් රටක සන්නාගතෙක් විදිහට ඉන්නවා කියලා. එදා වගේම අද එකක් කොහෙවත් සාක්ෂි නැහැ. ලංකාවට ආපු මේ නීතිපතිතුමා දැන් කට වැහිලා. එයා එළියට එන්න මේක කොහෙද ප්‍රදීප් ඉන්නේ කියන එක කියන්න.
Another death anniversary being commemorated without a body and grave, with the truth yet to be officially acknowledged by successive governments. Though Father Bastian disappeared, the eyewitness account of his brutal killing helped his family and community find closure. However, there are many disappearances that still continue to take place, leaving people wondering about the fate of their loved ones. While successive governments have still refused to acknowledge the truth about Father Bastian, there are many disappearances that are still continuing to take place today, with authorities refusing to take up responsibility even after having made public statements at local and international forums. Another such incident that came into public view was the disappearance of activist Lalithan Kugan while they were in the north. Here too a statement was made by a government minister stating that Mr. Veeraraj and Mr. Muruganandan have not been disappeared, they are there. However, the families are yet to be informed of their whereabouts. On our next report, we take a look at a protest that was held on the 24th of January outside the Fort Railway Station to mark the disappearance of Prageeth Iknaligoda. They called on the government to reveal the whereabouts of Prageeth as well as the countless others who have disappeared over the recent years and months.
மூணாம் மாதம் 21ஆம் தேதி சரியாக 3 வருஷம் இன்ன வரைக்கும் என் பிள்ளை இருக்கிறவன் காணல. புள்ள எங்கே போனால் அப்பா எங்கெங்கன்னு இந்த நேரம் கேட்டு அழுகுது. நாங்கள் சொல்ல பிள்ளைக்கு வெளிநாட்டுக்கு போயிருக்காரு அப்பான்னு போய் சொல்லி வச்சுருக்கோம். நாங்கள் எல்லா இடமும் தெரிவிச்சிருக்கோம், போலீஸுக்கு, ரெட் குரூஸுக்கு எல்லா இடம் போய் சொன்னோம், அலைஞ்சிக்கிட்டு தான் இருக்கோம்.
A group of people belonging to different ethnicities, backgrounds and coming from various parts of the country are brought together by a common cause to seek information on the whereabouts of their loved ones who've been abducted and gone missing in recent years. This silent vigil outside the Fort Railway Station on the 24th of January is organised to especially commemorate the second year since the disappearance of journalist Prageeth Iknaligoda, which took place in a post-war setting and became a case which led to burning questions relating to media freedom, law and order and impunity in the country. The event was organised by the Committee for the Investigation into the Disappeared, CID, who were joined by civil society groups, political representatives and other concerned citizens.
தொடர்ந்து அரசாங்கத்துக்கு போராட்டங்கள் பல போராட்டங்களை செய்து அரசாங்கத்தை அழுத்தங்களை தான் கொடுத்து கொண்டு வருகின்றோம். இந்த காணாமல் போனால் கடத்தலை நிறுத்த வேண்டும், காணாமல் போனவர்கள் கடத்தியவர்களை அவர்கள் உடவிடம் கொண்டு சேர்க்க வேண்டும் என்பதுதான் நமது பிரதான வேண்டுகோளாக இருந்தது. மக்கள் உளரீதியாக பங்களிப்பு இருந்தாலும் கூட வெளிப்படையான பங்களிப்பை தர மறுக்கிறார்கள். காரணம் இன்றைய அரசாங்கத்தின் கொண்டு செல்லும் அச்சுறுத்தல் என்பது சிலர் கடத்தும் பொழுது சிலர் கண்டும் பாராமுகமாக இருக்கின்றார்கள். அவர்களை தங்கள் பக்கம் திருப்பி இதற்கு எதிரான ஒரு குரலை எழுப்ப வேண்டும், மக்கள் இதற்கு எதிராக எழுந்து கைகோர்க்க வேண்டும் என்ற ஒரு நோக்கத்திலே தான் நாங்கள் இந்த செயல்பாட்டை செய்கிறோம்.
While disappearances have been reported from all over the country, the most number of complaints have come from the northern region. Speaking up on this issue has apparently proven dangerous for two young activists. Kugan Murugan and Lalith Veeraraj, affiliated with the Movement for People's Struggle, have been missing since the 9th of December 2011.
මෙරටේ මානව හිමිකම් ක්‍රියාකාරීන්ට විශේෂයෙන් උතුර ජනතාවගේ ගැටලු පිළිබඳව කතා කරන ක්‍රියාකාරකයන්ට බරපතල ප්‍රහාරයක් එල්ල කරන්න කටයුතු කරනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම ප්‍රබල මානව හිමිකම් ක්‍රියාකාරීන් දෙන්නෙක් වෙච්ච ලලිත් සහ කුගන් සහෝදරවරුන් පැහැරගෙන දැනට මාස 1කමාරකට ආසන්න කාලයක් ගතලා තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි ආණ්ඩුවට අවධාරණය කරනවා මේ යන ගමන මේ විදිහට යන්න බෑ. විශේෂයෙන්ම ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී අහෝසි කරලා යහපාලනය විනාශ කරලා ඒ වගේම රාජ්‍ය ත්‍රස්තවාදය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරලා මේ යන ගමන වහාම නවත්තන්න කියලා අපි අවධාරණය කරනවා.
Having failed to get an answer from authorities even after numerous complaints, a letter was subsequently submitted to the permanent representative of the United Nations in Sri Lanka, informing the UN of the situation and calling on them to pressure the government into carrying out a proper inquiry and investigation.
සාමාන්‍ය නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක වන රටක් නම් මේ වන විට මේ දෙදෙනා එක්කෝ මහේස්ත්‍රාත්වරයෙක් විදිහට වෙත ඉදිරිපත් කරලා නීතිමය ක්‍රියාමාර්ග අරන් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. නැත්නම් ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යාංශය විසින් රැඳවුම් නියෝග ලබාගෙන රැඳවුම් මධ්‍යස්ථානයක ඉන්න ඕනේ. ඒ නීත්‍යානුකූලව ගත යුතු ක්‍රියාමාර්ග දෙකම අරගෙන නැහැ. ඊට අමතරව එසේනම් ලංකාවේ තැනැත්තෙක්ව නීත්‍යානුකූලව රඳවා ගන්න කිසිදු ක්‍රමයක් නැහැ. එහෙම රඳවාගෙන සිටිනවා නම් ඒ රටේ සාමාන්‍ය නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන රටක් නෙවෙයි.
මගේ පුතා මේ යාපනට ගියේ මේ අතුරුදාන් වෙච්ච මිනිස්සු හොයන්නයි. ඒක නේ දැනගෙන පුතාට මං පුතේ මොකද මේ යාපනට ගිහලා කියලා ඇහුවා. පුතා කිව්වා තාත්තේ මේ රට අල්ලන්නවත් මිනිසුන්ට කරදර කරන්නවත් නෙවෙයි. මේ අතුරුදාන් වෙච්ච මිනිස්සු මේ අරන් දෙන්නයි මේ අපි ලෑස්ති වෙලා යන්නේ කියලා කිව්වා. එහෙනම් පුතේ හොඳ රස්සාවක කරන්න කියලා කිව්වා. ගිය මාසේ 9 වෙනිදා පුතා අතුරුදාන් වෙලා තියෙනවා. අද අපි එමෙතනටම ගිහිලා තියෙනවා. දැන් මාසයක් තිස්සේ ඉන්න පොලිසි නිලධාරිතුමාට කතා කරලා තියෙනවා. පොලිසි ස්ටේෂන් වල පැමිණිලා දාලා තියෙනවා. තවම කිසිම ඕඩුවක් අපිට ලැබිලා නැහැ. අඩුම ගාන මගේ පියාවෙනින් මං කියන්නේ මේ රජයට මගේ දරුවා ඉන්න තැනින්වත් මට කතා කරන්නවත් අවසර අරන් දෙන්න කියලා තමයි මම ආණ්ඩුවට කියන්නේ.
The silent protest outside the Fort Railway Station comes to an end, and the group head to the Jindupiti Annai Velankani Church to seek divine intervention, having failed to find answers through various mechanisms. They pray to Mother Mary and other deities to give them strength to continue with their quest for information on those who have disappeared, and the courage to work towards preventing such incidents in the future. Though abductions and disappearances may just be a figure to most of us and may make headlines occasionally, we hear very little about the impact it has on the family. Sandhya Ikneligoda speaks about her husband's disappearance and the effect it has on her and her children.
තවම කිසිම දෙයක් හොයාගන්න හම්බ වෙලා නැහැ. නමුත් මම ඒ උද්ඝෝෂණවලට යන්නේ ප්‍රගීත් ජීවත් කළ යුතු නිසා. ප්‍රගීත්ගේ අතුරුදහන් වීම ජීවත් කළ යුතු නිසා. ජීවත් වීම සඳහා කිසිම වැඩපිළිවෙලකුත් නැහැ. එකම දේ මට සහ ළමයින්ට ගෙදරට කන්න බොන දේවල් ටික කියන්නේ ප්‍රධාන දේවල් ටික හාල් පොල් ඒවා ටික මට මල්ලි ගෙනල්ලා දෙනවා. ඊට අමතරව මොනකට ආදායමක් නැහැ. කාගෙන් හරි හම්බුනොත් හරි පොතක් දෙකක් විකුණ ගත්තොත් හරි ඒක තමයි තියෙන්නේ. මගේ දෙවනි පුතා අසනීප වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ තාත්තා අතුරුදහන් වීමත් එක්ක ડિප්‍රෙෂන් තත්ත්වයටපත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. දැනට ඒකට බෙහෙත් කරමින් යන්නේ. සහායගේ ඉස්කෝලෙම යන්නේ. ලොකු පුතා මේ කරදර මැද්දේ වුණත් එයාගේ සාමාන්‍ය පෙළ විභාගය හොඳට පාස් කළා. මම රජෙන් මේ වෙනකොට ඉල්ලලා තියෙන්නේ ප්‍රගීත් එහෙම ඉන්නවා නම් ජනවාරි 24 ප්‍රගීත් අතුරුදහන් වෙලා අවුරුදු 2ක් ගත වෙන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා මට ප්‍රගීත් දෙන්න. මම හැමතැනකම මොකද නැවතත් මං ජිනීවා ඔය වද හිංසා කමිටුවට කියන්නේ කැත් කමිටියකට ලිව්වා ආණ්ඩුවට කියන්න මට ප්‍රගීත් මුණ ගස්සන්න කියලා. ඒ දේ තමයි මම නැවතත් ආණ්ඩුවෙන් සහ මම හැම කෙනෙක්ගෙම ඉල්ලන්නේ ප්‍රගීත් මන මුණ ගැස්සීම සඳහා රජයට බලපෑම් කරන්න කියන එක. මට විශ්වාසයි. ප්‍රගීත් කවදා හරි දවසක එනවා මේ ගෙදරින් දොර කොටින් ප්‍රගීත් මේ ගේ ඇතුළට එනවා කියන එක මට විශ්වාසයි. ඒ විශ්වාසය තමයි මම ජීවත් කරන නිසා මේ දිගටම මේ ගමන යන්නේ ඒකයි.
That's all we have for you on this episode of Connections. Comments on this program and those we broadcast in the past are welcome. You can do this by logging on to our website or sending us an SMS to the numbers displayed on the screen. Until next week, it's goodbye from me.